Good afternoon, everybody. It's ᛗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ, the ᛗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚋ men of Woden's Earth, the ancestral hall, coming to you today again from the earth of ᛗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ in ᛗᚩᚾᚪᚋᚪᚋ. I'm not turning into a mad monk. I'm wearing this big, comfy pullover because I'm dreadfully ill at the moment, so I've decided to actually film again on Sunday evening because tomorrow morning I've got a rush to get to the doctor's, diabetic nurse of all things. I'm working and everything, and I'm still going to be feeling dreadful, so I don't want to get to the point where I've not recorded anything. So that's where we're at. I hope you're all really well. I don't know what kind of weekend you've had. I've had a strange one. We had plans this weekend. The best laid plans sometimes just go laid waste, don't they? We went to the outdoor show yesterday. We go every year since it opened. It was so disappointing. We were out there within 2 hours, and that's including parking, walking to the place, walking back to his car, walking around it once, and it was just absolute rubbish. It's been so much better. We did manage to pick up a bit of what Ben Fogel were talking about at the beginning, but other than that, next year we're going to go back up to Arnie's instead. It's the week after. Anyway, that was yesterday. And then today we had tickets for Greg Davis over in Leeds Arena. I can't go. Would you want me coughing and spitting phlegm all over the back of your neck? Well, I'm watching a comedian. No, would you? Because I wouldn't want that. So we took the sad decision to not do that today, and we've managed to sell the tickets. And I'm sorry, that's just me notes for it. Like you say, nothing's scripted. It's just a few prompts that I use, guys, because I don't want to end up staying off track too long when I go off track, which by now you're about to realise that I do sometimes kind of tilt sideways from something. Anyway, I wanted to keep on a different theme again and today, and so it's just like I was gonna have a little look at the resurgence or the regrowth of the heathen worldwide perspective, if you like, but specifically to Odin and Woden. Okay, two names for the same god, you could say, but in reality, over here in England, right, we trace all the way back to the migration of the Anglo-Saxon folk, the 7 main tribes that came over here, and our people were here as Roman mercenaries before 449. So there's a long history of the Anglo-Saxons, and more stuff comes to light, which just means it's getting a little bit easier to fathom who our first ancestors were. The Norse, yes, they are as ancestors, but they came much later to this country. Out in other countries where maybe it's kind of nowhere to go Anglo-Saxon wise, but obviously the Norse gods, a lot of people call themselves Anglo-Saxon and worship the Norse gods. Well, to me that kind of doesn't add up. You do what you want, but you know, they're two distinct different pantheons in a way, maybe because we've not discovered all so I think I've said before, we don't definitely have a Loki figure. The Wanes or the Vaena, as in North, are not gods and goddesses. They are more like the land rights. They are a lower classification of deity in that sense. And a lot of the stories, whether they cross over from one path to another, is debatable. So let's have a look. There's a few definitions. We'll just go over them quickly. So, Odinism. Now, depending where you live, will depend what Odinism may mean, because more so over in the States and in the prison system, there does seem to be a massive connection to right-wing and racist prison groups and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's for definite, it's what you read, it's what we're told. Cup of coffee, can't drink, guys, I'm sorry. So, over in this country, I did find kind of that undercurrent with a major organisation that I was once with, and which kind of put me off in the end, because our path isn't a path of hatred. Other people don't do what they want. You know what I mean? We should be developing ourselves and our path, not worrying about what other people are doing. So, Odinism in the UK, even the name Odinism takes different forms, because our friends in the Odinite Rite are Odinists, and they are very different than like the Odinist Fellowship and groups like this, who prefer to have an old church that they've converted and have a big altar, as they like to call it, and people sit on pews in this old church and sing from little books and pray from little books. So there's many forms of it, and that's recognisable to the Christians, so they probably get a lot of converts when people really start to look for something new, which many people are doing. Then you've got ᚗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ or ᚗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ. The Asia is the Norse version of the gods. Okay, so ᚗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ means true to the Asia. Okay, so you're not specifically looking at one deity. There might not be an Odinism, but I think it's a lighter version. It's a lot more left-leaning, a lot more accepting, and of who can join the groups. And I think it is a case of, let's have a really big group of people and not really think about the history of the people. You know, but again, Wodenism, for the want of a word, to me takes you straight back down the ancestral Anglo-Saxon path. If I had to be anything, I'd be a Wodenist. I've said before, I just call myself Odin's man. Okay, and it is difficult, because when you first start this path, one of the hardest things to do is unpick all the thorns that have been put in your mind from being this big by your parents and your grandparents and your friends' parents and everyone you knew when you grew up. Pretty much, for most of us, preached Christianity at you, or at least when it suited them. So, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard, because you've got to kind of your head from all that stuff, right, before you can open yourself up properly to your ancestral path. So it's then the same, because all of us, myself, I think everyone I know starts down the Norse God's path. When we first find our calling, we head off down like Odin, Thor, Tyr, Freya. Okay, so again, having to try and follow the ancestral Anglo-Saxon path is hard again, because you've just managed to get all the crap of the Christian stuff out of your head, and now there's all the confusion over the Norse stuff, because they are as ancestors, no doubt about it, as are the Anglo-Saxon Christians, right? But it's just like, what do you believe? Because if you're an Anglo-Saxon heathen, like myself and my kinsfolk, right, none of that really matters. What matters is what we can develop around our own path, our own definition of that path. I'm not saying any path is right or wrong. I'm not saying any definition is right or wrong. You'll only go where you're called at the end of the day. You'll only understand what you're meant to understand, because you'll only be given the knowledge that you're capable of understanding. All of us, not you particularly, all of us. And you've got stuff like ᚗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ, which I just laugh, I'm sorry, it's just absolute nonsense. There's no such thing as ᚗᚩᚾᚪᚋ᚞ᚪᚷ. It's a made up concept, a bit like Nazi-true, and I can't even, to me, it's nonsense. I'm just not into it at all. It's just like people trying to be different, yeah, and they know nothing about the Vania, to be honest. We probably know more about the Jötun and the Etians than we do about the Vania properly. So I think a lot of it's just, well, to me it's just no use. And then there's Lokians. Now, Loki is attested in so much of the Norse and the Germanic myths and things. I'm not going to go into Loki now. He's a figure we will look at, because he plays such a massive part in our ancestral makeup. But I've heard people say that Loki is transgender. No, he's not. Loki is a fire giant, so he has no actual gender, and he's a shapeshifter. Right, so it's not like he just had an operation and changes his gender. He can swap between these different forms. Yeah. So again, that makes no sense to me. So I don't follow up the Lokians. Have I got an association with Loki? I have a long association with Loki, but that's mine, and maybe for another day. So just what I've said so far there, you can imagine when you first come to this path, right? It's just getting so confusing, folks. It's so confusing. Now at some point I'll do kind of a bullet point about how I came to this path and my memories and how I think I got here and why I think I got here. Right, but it's like the main thing is like for people, where do you start? Because there's so much. If you put Odin into Google, there's a million hits, you know what I mean? So many different things. So personally, I would say start as a soloist. Don't go straight looking for a group to join, because all you're going to do then is no better than going and getting beaten by a vicar in church. Right? Somebody else is going to tell you how you have to be. So they'll give you the 10 noble virtues, which again are invented. They've got no historical credence. I don't follow them. And if you actually look into the 9 noble virtues, isn't it? Sorry. The 9 noble virtues, which is like the 10 commandments, I suppose. But it is to me anyway. I don't follow them because it's a load of nonsense. Because it's like you're meant to try your hardest to live that way. Well, that's not good. That's not good. You live it or you don't live it. You don't, I did that one wrong, I can forgive myself and move on again tomorrow. Once you get to this acceptance stage of who you are, there's no black and white anymore. You stick to your troth, right? And you stick to who you are and you don't falter. You forge your path your way. Read, learn, speak to people in groups and stuff, but on the internet and all this and like, then collect as much information as you can, go through it for yourself, put it in a way that you understand it, and then cut out the grey bits. You'll be left with a little book of black and white that you understand. And once you have forged you that way, it's like no one will change you. And when you get involved with groups and stuff, then you will know whether or not you want to be there with them. When and how should you start? That's a personal choice. I can't stop someone just watching this video and he's a dickhead him, I'll just go out now and join the group. Off you go, enjoy it. Yeah, that might work for you. Right? I'm just suggesting there's another way before you jump headlong into a group. Yeah, because once you go into a group and make a pledge or something, unless that group tears itself apart, right, the only way out of it is to break your troth. Right, now we've seen groups tear themselves apart and then someone's free to make another troth before. Yeah, but it's just like, you gotta be careful with the words. When you make pledges and troths, it means something. That fucking means something. Why would you start? I mean, me now. I'll be 59 this year, so I'm touching 60, and I've been on this path since 19 years old. But the tricklings of it started long before that. But at 19, I put my first Thor's arm around my neck, and I've never faltered off this path. Never faltered off this path. Yeah, so I'm looking at like 40 years of my life or something nearly, yeah. Right, most of that I was a soloist. I flitted around groups that I found not to be what I wanted because they were nothing to do with Odin in the end. And it's just like, finally when I did join a group, I became very disappointed with it in the end and formed my own kindred away from it. Because initially, when I first ever started, the original Blue Raven Kindred that rang. It was going to be part of another organisation or under an umbrella, and I'm glad I didn't now. Okay, so only you will know when it's right, yeah. But after everything I've said today, if anybody just runs in and it's like, I think it's foolish, right? You've learned nothing, you know nothing, you're the one in the room that doesn't realise when everyone's talking about you and laughing at you, instead of laughing with you. I'm going to leave you today with this, right? When a man stands on a strange threshold, he must look this way and that. He knows not where his enemies lie within the hall. Have 'em all, stand as one. Yeah, when you walk into a pool boss about you, have a good look round before you commit yourself. Right, someone doesn't like you in that room. Someone's probably jealous of your personality. Look for the eyes that are smiling at you. No matter what's here, it's all in the eyes. You can tell when someone's genuine. When they smile, does their eyes sparkle? Right? Are they genuinely happy to see you? Head for that person, yeah, and you'll find your place within the crowd. I'm going to leave you at that today, guys, and well, this will be posted tomorrow on Mona's Dag. So take care, stay safe out there in Woden's Keep. Good night.